Yeah. What's good, everybody? It's Sean P, the Bluff God, and we back at it again. Today, we will be talking about One Piece, chapter 1015, Chains. Hey, let me pull it up real quick for myself. Bam, bam. All right, yeah. One Piece, chapter 1015, Chains. All right. And before we get into that though, before we get into the actual chapter, make sure you like the video, like the stream. Make sure you like the stream, and share your thoughts on the chapter. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell for notification, so when you can get notified when I go live or when I post a video. But anyway, let's get back into it. So, we start off. Make sure my sound and everything. All right. So the cover page is basically Senior Pink being, taken off by a stork who confused Senior Pink with a baby, because he has the bib, and pretty much his whole aura is baby like, his whole image. So, yeah. Getting into the chapter though. Alright, so we start the chapter off. We got Luffy sinking to the bottom, basically sinking to the sea, in the sea. And Queen basically biting Chopper, and last chapter it looked like Chopper had an advantage, but Queen kind of reversed it, especially Chopper kind of distracted with finding out that Luffy was beaten, defeated. And so we basically get a few panels of everybody getting this news of Luffy's defeat, Chopper's shocked that Luffy was defeated. He's basically crying, and we got everybody else like, oh, what's the point in continue fighting if we lost? If our leader, the person leading the strongest person on our side, lost to their leader, why keep fighting? Let me get some water for myself. My mouth is. And so we got we got Izu, Komatsu, and Sanji carrying Zoro running down the hall, and Izu basically like, yeah, this is basically going to hurt morale, like, this announcement hurts morale. But Sanji's like, people acting like we already lost, like we haven't lost yet, And then Queen, basically gets up and say, I was only playing games with you, And, we know of Queen to be somebody who, enjoys, toying with people. That's his thing. And I said last chapter, I feel as though it was a feat in itself for Chopper to be taking on Queen in this aspect, I didn't think that Queen was actually getting like any damage of it, Like Queen was just kind of like, because I look at Queen in the Beast Pirates as a reflection of Kaido. Kaido tanks attacks. He allows, from what I've seen from Kaido, he allows whoever he's fighting to attack him. Kind of like Kenpachi almost. He likes a good fight, and he will allow you to keep attacking and attacking and attacking as much as you want, And then when he gets tired of you attacking because you're not like doing anything to him, that's when he hits you with like a finisher. But we see here Queen is kind of like, his leader. He is also, I would say, the second commander out of Kaido's men. So it makes sense for him to be this tough. And I didn't think Chopper of all the Straw Hats would be the one who would be doing any damage to Queen. Um, to me, that was either, you know, Sanji, Zoro, or Jinbei. You know, like before we started the arcs. You know, that was always kind of my thing. And even maybe somebody like a team up of a few Straw Hats if it wasn't going to be Sanji and Zoro. You know, those were kind of what I thought. You know, but later in this chapter kind of reassures what I initially thought. And even Sanji and Zoro was kind of iffy to me. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like, you know, like Luffy was having problems with commander level characters, so I'm like, I don't know if Sanji and Zoro could compete with a commander level a commander level character. But you know, like we see Zoro up there fighting Kaido, you know, and Sanji already kind of, I don't know if I'll say tank, but he took an attack from King and was roughly okay afterward. You know, like it wasn't no fatal injury he sustained, even though he was in his raid suit. But yeah, so anyway, back to the chapter. So then we get Peril Sparrow, you know, raining down arrows on the Alliance, and we see the panel where Queen is like opening his mouth for attack, and all of a sudden he has sharp teeth, and that when I first read this chapter, I'm thinking like, is that like natural, or like is that natural? Is that like part of his ability? Because he has I want to say his dinosaur is like the dinosaur, his dinosaur ability he has is a herbivore. Was a herbivore dinosaur, maybe an omnivore. I don't know, but even then, you know, herbivores and omnivores don't have sharp teeth like that. Like omnivores will have like fangs, but the rest of them are pretty flat. But all those teeth are sharp. So I'm thinking, is that like a product of his ability, or are they like implants that he did himself? Him being like a tinkerer type character, you know, like that just kind of caught me right there. What do y'all think? Y'all think those are actual sharp teeth, like his sharp teeth that was given to him based off his devil fruit, or do y'all think it could be like maybe implants? You know, you guys let me know. But before he could basically take a bite out of Chopper, Sanji comes out with a kick. You know, basically kicks Queen. You know, while he's still holding on to Zoro, which pretty dope moment. You know, he still got Zoro all bandaged and wrapped up like a mummy. and the whole time, bro, Zoro really been just chilling, bro. Like he just has no shame of being carried around by Sanji. Like that's funny. I find that to me that's been probably the funniest things about these last few chapters. Just the fact Zoro's just bandaged up into like a cross, and Sanji just carrying him around, beating people up. So he hits Queen with a Diable Jimba rotisserie. And I'm guessing he's basically kicking Queen around into like a almost like a merry-go-round. Just, you know how Sanji got those consecutive kicks. He's just kicking Queen around, and Queen's just going around and around, which is kind of a reoccurring thing with Queen, being the fact that he has this long neck, right? It's just he's constantly spinning. Like in Udon, we had Big Mom's, except she had him by the neck and was spinning him around, and Sanji's kind of just kicking his face around and around and around. At least that's what what it looks like. And in this in this spinning, he catches Perospero, and Perospero is basically sent away. And anyway, Sanji's telling Chopper like, man, like chill, like stay strong, like you held out strong, but good job. And Chopper's like, Chopper's be like, Sanji, Luffy, what about Luffy? What's going on with Luffy? And he's like, hey, don't cry, we haven't lost yet. After as long as we've been together, have a little faith. Have a little faith, Chopper. Have a little faith. And then he basically gives Chopper like Zoro to Chopper and say, look, take care of Zoro. I'll take care of this guy. And because he was like, hey, the funny thing, he was like, hey, take care of him. He got the strength of 10 men when he's healthy. And Zoro said 2,000. Oh man, that was just a funny little moment between the two. Sanji trying to undercut Zoro's strength, but Chopper seemed to not even realize it was Zoro. He was like, "What's that?" And Sanji basically say, it's Zoro, and tells Chopper to let I'll take this fight with King or Queen, and And so we get a little shot. Well, before I go on, I wanted to say about Sanji and Queen. Like, I was always kind of skeptical, with how I felt with King or Sanji and Zoro's, I guess scaling, like where they scaled, and for me it was, I don't really look at them as strong as Luffy, right? And then I see how Luffy struggled with Cracker and Katakuri. And for me, it's like, I almost kind of see King and Queen, since they're commanders, maybe not necessarily equal, but at least some up there, And for me, it was just like, how would Sanji and Zoro fare against Katakuri and Cracker or any other commander? But I feel as though, especially with Sanji's raid suit and Zoro getting Emma, that they are, at this point, like if they didn't get those upgrades, I would probably doubt their strength in fighting a king or a queen. But with those upgrades, I could see them getting a good 1v1 against those guys, So it makes sense for us to get the Sanji versus Queen, and then we get Marco basically saying like, this is why I like you guys, cause y'all don't got no quit, like there's no quits in you guys, and that's what's up, man. Like I would like to see Marco, I would like to see Marco join the Straw Hat Fleet. Like, not necessarily be a Straw Hat member of the main crew, but like if he joined the fleet and him and the other remaining Whitebeard pirates that are still alive, if they join the Straw Hat Fleet, I think that'd be a very good addition. And plus you look at Whitebeard, right? Whitebeard's last order as captain of the crew was to protect Straw Hat, protect Luffy. He said protect Ace's brother. That was his last order. So if they join the Straw Hat Fleet, that makes sense. If I remember correctly, that was his last order. I could be, correct me if I'm wrong. But I remember it being like, protecting Ace's brother. So, anyway, we go back to the castle. What's it? First floor crawl space, right? Where the Akazawa samurai are, and we get Kandro laid out, Okiku laid out, and then Kinemon is still somehow alive, and he basically grabbing his broken sword and he just stabs Kaido. We see Shinobu running off with Momonosuke, and Momonosuke or Kinemon just thinking back to all the times he had with Momonosuke, telling him like, "Hey, we gotta keep you alive. So anytime we meet people, just say you're my son, right? Like just say you're my son." And it's dope because we kind of see like moments that they forget that they're supposed to be father and son, and sometimes like Kinemon is basically saying like, "Hey, Lord son," and then Momonosuke like, "Kinemon, like dad," so it was just like little flashbacks of that, of seeing their dynamic, how they almost had a father and son relationship, since Momonosuke didn't have Oden no more. So Kinemon was the closest thing that he had to a father after he lost his father Oden. Off of Orochi and Kaido's execution. So Kaido after Kinemon stabs Kaido basically says like, "What will these extra seconds buy you? What will their escape change exactly?" Like, I already like Kaido. Like, I like Kaido from the moment like Oda was just hyping him up, and I'm like, bro, this dude jumped off a goddamn cloud. But this arc, and just seeing how much more layered Kaido is than people may initially believe him to be. Like, I first thought like he was just gonna be like this beast, like that's basically his character, just super strong and no one can stop him. But he is fallible. He can be hurt. But I mean, my thing with Kaido is it just take I always believe that it just takes somebody strong enough to be able to defeat him. And the only people you can really put up there are like Whitebeard, Roger, the other Yonko, very few people, Zebek, another person. Very few people I would say could beat Kaido, especially now. Like, I feel as though Kaido is in his prime, or maybe a little past his prime. Like, I feel as though when he fought Oden, I don't think Kaido was in his prime at that time. I think he was like rising in his prime, but I don't think he was in his prime. But like now, I think like within the 20 years after, I believe Kaido reached his prime sometime. Like, I'm not sure when, but I believe that's somewhere in that 20 year time. And but now we get to see like Kaido just he just talks this mess. I'm trying not to curse, but he talks this mess, and but like he also has like some respect for his enemies. A lot of these times. And while he's saying this, we see him grab, I want to say it's Kinemon's other sword, or could be Okiku's, or I don't think it's Kandro's, but it could be I think it's Kinemon's sword. He grabs it, and Momonosuke and Shinobu was basically running away, and then Kaido basically impales Kinemon like straight through his back. Just straight through his back, and says, "Face your death like a warrior. The problem with defeat is so few can accept it when it arrives. That's deep, man. Like, is he talking about, like, is he projecting? Like, I feel as though he could be projecting to maybe some of his insecurities. You know, like when he almost lost to Odin, you know, and Odin was distracted by their witch who had Bon Clay's devil fruit. So he kind of feels though he was almost cheated defeat. Not that he wanted to be defeated, but like he should have been defeated. And like in his head, he like, you know, maybe I kind of believe that. I don't think he was on the brink of defeat, but I believe that he realized that Odin could possibly beat him. You know what I'm saying? Like if this fight keeps going, he could possibly beat me. And maybe that eats at Kaido because he felt like he should have lost. He probably should have lost that, or if he would have kept going, he probably would have lost that. You know, and he feels though the witch or the lady, the old lady, the old hag, he believes she cheated him out. Like her doing that, he was cheated out of that defeat that he should have suffered. So to me, that I feel as though he could be projecting with saying that, or maybe he would, you know, maybe he would have accepted it. You know, I don't know. Then we see the little frog with the eye. You know, it's kind of used for like a communication tool, and Momonosuke grabs it, and while Shinobu was running off with him. And Momonosuke decides to make his own little announcement and says, you know, hey everybody, you know, I'm Kazuki Momonosuke. And he said, I pass along Luffy's words. You know, he says Luffy is alive and he tells me that he will return to battle. So this kind of plays to what was going on with Momonosuke. And while he was in that pain, he must have been, you know, and I want to talk about it some more, so I'm not going to talk about it exactly right now. But he must have been in some type of, he must have a link with Luffy. You know, he must. Like, I'll talk about it some more. We'll talk about more, you know, like after I kind of recap what happened with the stream. You know, I want to do my recap of the chapter and then my thoughts on things. So Momonosuke basically tells him like, hey, keep fighting. Don't matter how painful it is, just continue to fight. You know, Luffy will be back and he will defeat Kaido. He will. Now I still don't know if I believe that. I still feel as though it's gonna have to be a team effort. But, you know, I also think Big Mom could possibly turn on Kaido, you know. And it could either be Big Mom allying with Luffy, or it could be kind of a three-way type battle, you know, where it's Big Mom trying to defeat Luffy and Kaido. And because of that, something like that could give Luffy an out some way. Out somehow, like maybe an opportunity to beat Kaido. You know, like that's what I'm kind of thinking. You know, it could be. So, you know, try and make sure I didn't miss anything. You know, everybody's also listening. You know, everybody's listening, kind of like, oh, that's Lord Momonosuke and everything, and just shocked. Like he's crying. You know, they're just shocked. And when he says like, Luffy is going to win. Luffy is going to win. That kind of rejuvenates, kind of rejuvenates everybody fighting. We see Frankie, we see Chopper, who's still kind of crying, but seems more excited. We even see some of Kaido's old men, who was, I guess, changed. But then we also see who's who that looks a little like annoyed of it. Like, why? We see Robin, and then we see King, who just kind of like listening. And then even Kid, we see Kid, who has somewhat of a positive smirk. Like even though he talks all day like, oh, I don't like Luffy, I don't care what happens to him, he's still like, good thing. I'm glad Luffy's still fine. And so Kaido basically said, "Are you sad?" Kaido catches up with Momonosuke and Shinobu and said, "Hey, are you satisfied now? Son of Odin." And Momonosuke a little scared. He's scared because Kaido's winding up, and we see Shinobu use her ripe fruit that kind of it deteriorates the side of the cliff that they're on, and I'm assuming that they're that's them falling off. They're falling off the cliff, and yeah, like Kaido just kind of watches as they fall, and then we get we go back to Luffy sinking, and we see Law's ship. The crew has a ship, and they're off to save. They're off to save Luffy. Which I was discussing this with somebody when I was talking about, like, I was talking on my Discord, which my Discord. I'm gonna have to put my Discord in the link in the Discord description, so you guys could use my Discord. I'm gonna definitely share my Discord. I'm gonna share my Discord with you guys. But anyway, I was talking to somebody in my Discord, and we was talking about, like, what's gonna happen with Luffy. Who's gonna save Luffy? One of my theories was, maybe it could be Zonisha. Because I thought maybe that's who Momonosuke was communicating with. Or maybe some Sea Kings. I don't know. But it makes sense for it to be Law's men, because Law's men did stay behind. And that's one thing he pointed out, that Law's men stayed back in the submarine. They never entered Onigashima, so they were still in the water. And here we go. We got Law's men say, and it makes sense, because I would think they would be probably following Onigashima, trying to keep up with it for the action and everything. So they basically see Luffy, and let me get a little more water. At first they just see a person, but they're like, hey, that's Straw Hat Luffy. So it kind of made me think, like, what was Luffy's plan to get out of this if Law's men didn't show up? Did he detect Law's men? Like, did he know that they was going to show up? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? But yeah. So, we got Nami running off. We got Nami, Usopp, and Otama running away, and I guess like maybe Nami didn't notice it, but Prometheus or Zeus, what would it be, like, maybe he entered into his boat. I don't know, like, is his soul in the climate baton, or is he, like, him as a cloud integrated in the baton. Like I'm confused. But I'm interested to find out what happened. Like how he is all of a sudden possessing Nami's Climatek. Because I don't remember their last encounter. So, because from last time I remember, he wanted Nami to take him back, but she was still mad at him. So yeah, I'm curious to how he possessed her Climatek. But so we go back to Kid and Big Mom fighting. Big Mom basically saying like, hey, they're bluffing. He fell into the sea. But but we see like someone's leg in the background, and that turns out to be Law, and Law's saying like, hey, let's team up. Stop being childish. Like, grow up. Let's have a temporary alliance. Let's fight Big Mom. I'm assuming that's what he mean. Like, let's fight Big Mom. And as Kaido is, I guess, watching, Shinobu and Momonosuke fall off this cliff into the water, or I don't know if they're over. I think they're over land at this point, so they probably fell on land. If they reached land when Shinobu did that, but we get somebody call out to Kaido, and then Kaido's response is funny. Kaido basically says, "I think you mean father, Yamato." And then he basically, Yamato says, "No, I've come here to cut those chains." Which plays to the title of the chapter. And so we do get another chapter next week, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. But yeah, going back to what she said about cutting those chains, it just makes me think that she's going to join the Straw Hats. Like I feel as though like she's trying to cut her relations with Kaido so she could be free, and then being free, I feel as though she's going to join the Straw Hats. But yeah, that's a interesting way, and it plays back to the title of the chapter, Chains. Because she's literally in chains, and she's almost chained to Kaido, as Kaido's child, But yeah, so now that we got that out of the way, there's some things I want to talk about. What stood out to me the most of this chapter. First I want to talk about in the beginning of the chapter, after we get Kaido or we get this announcement being made, after we get the announcement being made that Luffy has been defeated. For a short time, it did exactly what it was intended to do. It was supposed to destroy the morale of the Alliance. And that's what I want to talk about, the morale of the Alliance. We seen that throughout the chapter. It was almost like the evolving story of the chapter. Because first, the Alliance, like the samurai, the beast pirates that joined the Alliance and betrayed the beast pirates, they was like, hey, we lost. Like, this is pointless. It's pointless to keep fighting. Our leader has been defeated. Why I keep fighting? You know, we even have Chopper. You know, Chopper probably was the he probably showed he probably represented the morale of the of the men the best, you know, because if we see Chopper crying, you know, because he thinks Luffy was defeated, you know, and the other men are like, you know, they're like, hey, why we keep fighting? But then later, you know, when Sanji shows up and he says, look, you know, like Chet, like stop, you know, like you know Luffy enough, you know you've been with Luffy long enough to know that, you know, miracles happen. You know, he will pull through. We will pull through. You know, like, you know, that's basically what Sanji was getting to Chopper. And even the other guys, you know, people are like, yo, wow, you know, cause Sanji was still like, why is everybody acting like we've been defeated already? You know, like Sanji and Zoro, like, why we haven't been defeated yet? But he says that to them, and you know, they're still, that kind of does something, like maybe give a little hope, but you know, it didn't really like change the morale, you know. At least until Momonosuke did his announcement when he said, "Look, I talked to Luffy. Luffy says he will beat Kaido and we will win. He will come up. He will come back. He will come up out of his situation, and we will win. We will win." And then that is where the tide turn of the morale. You know, when Sanji came and said, "Hey, you know, like we haven't lost yet." That was kind of a turning point, but it needed something. Something needed to be done in order to drive it home, and that's when Momonosuke's announcement. You know, that's what drove it home. You know, that's what drove the turn of the morale of the Alliance home. And okay, so next I wanted to point out Sanji showing up and deciding to take on Queen. And I kind of touched on it, so I'm not going to touch on it too long. But I also want to talk about a few other repercussions of that, of Sanji being there. And you know, like I think that's what kind of was most likely going to happen. You know, Sanji. You know, I always kind of was skeptical about Sanji and Zoro fighting King and Queen, but I always knew that was like probably, you know, based off the pattern of the story. You know, Zoro tends to fight the second strongest. Sanji fights the third strongest of whatever the enemy crew is. And so it kind of just falls in line with that pattern. You know, Sanji fighting Queen. So it's I guess I kind of wanted it to go a different way, but it was expected for it to go this way. So that also leads me to believe that Zoro's also in the area, you know, being tended to by Chopper, you know. And Zoro gets back up pretty fast, you know. Zoro, it's hard to keep Zoro down. So, and that leads me to also bring in the fact that King is still in that area. Last time I checked, last time I remember, King, because Marco was fighting King and Queen, and then Chopper was kind of, we see Chopper tangling with Queen at one point, and King is still around. Like, unless I don't remember him leaving. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I don't remember King leaving that specific area, so that leads me to believe that we might get a King versus Zoro. Like, this might lead to King versus Zoro. Zoro may have to Chopper might have something to fix it, like give Zoro a quick pick me up, like like a health boost or something. Like I don't know, something to regenerate his strength, or Zoro might just go off purely off will, because we know Zoro will do that. He will fight off will, and Zoro tends to fight from under. He's usually injured previously from something, and like in the beginning of the Grand Line, or even basically from Arlong Park to like most of the beginning of the Grand Line, Zoro was still pretty much hurt from Mihawk. He was nerfed. He was nerfed by that injury that he took from Mihawk. And now we kind of see Zoro, who's probably going to be nerfed from here on out, who took the punishment from Kaido. We see him bandaged up, but it might get to a point where Zoro's going to either be healed from Chopper, or he's going to either have to will himself up to continue fighting. Because it might have to be him versus King. We got Sanji versus Zoro, or Sanji versus Queen, King versus Zoro. And I would kind of like to see I think it would be kind of dope if we get like a tag team type fight, where it's like Zoro and Sanji kind of switching between King and Queen, so it's like 2v2, but the matchups are kind of switching. I think that would be pretty dope, but most likely it's going to be Sanji versus Queen and Zoro versus King, is what I'm thinking. And that would leave me to what would Marco, like who would Marco be taking on? Is he going to take on King, or could him or Chopper take on Pearl Sparrow? Because Pearl Sparrow is in the vicinity right now. So, it could be like Marco versus Pearl Sparrow. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like Pearl Sparrow being reluctant to fight Marco. Maybe we'll get a little more added layers to their relationship. Because I know they were enemies, but Pearl Sparrow was kind of like, it was a point where Pearl Sparrow and him and Marco, they allied, but we never seen the beginning of that alliance, right? Because they allied pretty quickly, and after they allied, Pearl Sparrow seemed like he didn't mind working with Marco. Matter of fact, when Big Mom told Pearl Sparrow to kill Marco with his arrows, Pearl Sparrow was kind of reluctant to finish off Marco. Because he was like, look, back in the day, I probably would have liked killing you. I probably would have liked this moment. I would be crazy. I would want this moment. But now I kind of feel bad. Like, I don't want to do this. So maybe we'll dig deeper into Marco and Pearl Sparrow, while Pearl Sparrow was kind of friendly with Marco. How he maybe was able to get over their previous beef. And next, but I can also see maybe Chopper fighting Pearl Sparrow now that he's not taking on Queen, and that could be a good fight for Chopper. Like maybe Marco might fight King for a while, and Chopper might fight Pearl Sparrow, and that could work. Why I feel as though it could go that way, and that could be a likely way, is because somebody needs to kind of deal with Pearl Sparrow, right? And I feel as though if like Zoro at the moment can't deal with King because he's hurt, but maybe Marco will take care of Queen or King while Sanji is fighting Queen, and if let's say King manages to get the advantage on Marco, and it could be like maybe a part where he gets the advantage on Marco and he's about to kill Marco, but Zoro maybe after resting enough or maybe if Chopper heals him, Zoro basically stops King. And at this point, Zoro probably be kind of nerfed because he's weakened from being healed from being hurt from Kaido. But if King fought Marco for a good time, maybe King kind of got like worn out as well. So it'll be a more even fight, you know. Because I don't know how Zoro could do if he's like severely nerfed against someone like King, like Kaido's right hand man. Like Zoro full health, you know, Zoro on equal health of King. Yes, I can still see like King slightly still being the stronger one of the two. But knowing how tough Zoro is, you know, he would fight until the very end until he somehow pulls something off. So, you know, since Zoro might be nerfed at this point, like let Marco kind of weaken King, you know. So that's and then you know Sparrow will fight Chopper. You know, but that's what those performance floor matchups. Okay, and then next, talking about Kanjuro. You know, Kanjuro, you know, it's kind of a follow up of last week when we talked about the deaths. Kanjuro and Okiku. I don't know. You know, it's tough. It's a tough call. Like, do you guys think Kanjuro and Okiku are dead? Because they look down. They look pretty dead at that point. You know, and I don't know if I still believe it until, you know, we get to the end and it's like they like, oh yeah, are falling or something. Like that's or if somebody says, yeah, they're dead. You know, it's tough with deaths with Oda. And then we got Kinemon's death. Kaido looked like, you know, that looked like a pretty lethal blow. You know, Kaido impelling that sword through Kinemon. So I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys think Kanjuro, Okiku, and Kinemon are all dead? You think you know they're still alive? Let me know what y'all think. And then I didn't want to dig in that too deeply because that was just kind of playing off of last week. And then Momonosuke's connection with Luffy. Like that's like last chapter. I thought that Momonosuke was talking to like either Zou, to some ancient mythical, you know, like because I think Momonosuke has the voice of all things. He's like kind of like Luffy, you know. He could sense these things. So I thought Momonosuke was talking to like either Zou, maybe a Sea King, maybe some other mythical animal in Wano, like the mountain god, maybe. But I guess, you know, I think this chapter confirmed that he was talking to Luffy the whole time. You know, and that's crazy because we never really seen them use theirs the you know, like the voice of all things. We never really seen it being used as almost like a communication type situation, you know, where Luffy could talk to Momonosuke, like two people with the ability could talk to each other almost or send a message. And I don't know, you know, like because Luffy's in kind of a situation where he doesn't really have his consciousness. So how could he send a message if he's not really conscious? How could he send a message to Momonosuke? Or is it because he's unconscious that he's able to send that message? The fact that he's, you know, not within his mind, like maybe he's in a mental state where Momonosuke could hear him, you know? And then that leads me to kind of talk about like how Luffy, knew he would be okay. Like, how did he know he would make it back? Did he sense Law's crew coming in his direction? What do you guys think of that though? Why do you think Luffy was able to communicate with Momonosuke? Was he communicating with Momonosuke, or was Momonosuke just sensing like that? What do you guys think of that situation? Of Luffy basically telling Momonosuke that he'll come back. Like that's like maybe it's something, the voice of all things that we don't, like voice of all things could be something really deep. Maybe it could almost be like a special form of haki that's even rarer than Conqueror's haki. Maybe it's so rare that it's not classified as haki. It can't be classified as haki because it's rare. Is that rare? People don't know it enough to, or haven't encountered it enough to say, yeah, that's haki. But yeah, like, what do you guys think? What do you guys think is going on with that whole situation with Momonosuke sensing Luffy? And then last thing is more matchups. But these are matchups that were kind of established, because like the reason why I like this chapter, because it's kind of setting the stage for matchups. Like earlier we had the Sanji calling out Queen, right? Like we already got matchups before though. We got Jinbei, who's who, Frankie, Sakazuki or Suzuki. We got Brooke and Robin, Black Maria. Ulti, Page One, even though Page One I think is out at the moment from Big Mom. And Ulti's kind of out. Ulti's out from Nami, I think. But I think their matchup is still ongoing, or I think it will resume. But Page One, Ulti, and Usopp Nami, and with Page One and Ulti kind of hurt from what happened, I could see Nami and Usopp being able to kind of take them on at that point. It's still being hard. It's still being a very hard did fight for them, but having a better chance with them. But earlier this chapter, some fights that I feel as though are being set up is Sanji versus Queen, which was basically already kind of set up, and then possibly King and Zoro versus King, because they're in the same location, same area. They're in the same area, and either Marco or Chopper versus Peril Sparrow, and but I would say the fights that were set up later, right at the end, I want to say we got Kid and Law. That's what it's looking to be. Kid and Law versus Big Mom. And Yamato versus Kaido. And I think that could possibly turn into Yamato and Oden, or not Oden, Yamato, Luffy versus Kaido. I think that might be what we gonna get. Yamato and Luffy, like when Luffy comes back, like that's a possibility. So, and that's interesting, because I always kind of believe it's a possibility that we might get Yamato fighting Kaido. I don't think she could win, but her and Luffy, they could do some damage. They could do some damage. But yeah. So that's pretty much everything I got for the chapter. All my thoughts. You guys tell me what you guys think. Make sure you like the stream. Subscribe, hit that bell for notification. You know, I do these One Piece streams every Sunday. You know, I try to get them done 4 p.m. If long as the chapter was released before then, you know, long as the chapter's not delayed, you know, we get these 4 p.m. You know, Central Time. That's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, on Instagram at Blumfgod. You know, if you don't know how to spell that, you know, it should be in the description. You know, join my Discord. I will be putting that in the description. Long as they let me go back and edit it, I will be putting that in the description too. If not, which they should. But if not, yeah, I think they do. But if not, I'll make sure I share it next stream so you guys can join my Discord. But yeah, anyway, y'all take it easy. See y'all again for another One Piece chapter discussion next Sunday, because we do get another chapter, which is good. But next time we get a break, I'm gonna probably bring in a guest. My boy, he has his channel, but I always like to get his opinions on things. I'm gonna see if I could get him for the next time we have no chapter, next break. But yeah, I'm out of here. Y'all take it easy. Peace.